welcome back to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience podcast right now. This is your host, Chris. We have a very special guest on the line. We have Paolo, the bassist of Trivium. What's up, man? How you doing today?
Doing good. Just chilling. Getting ready for a big move. I'm moving back to Florida this weekend, so I've been going between packing, streaming, playing bass, doing all that stuff. It's been a hectic week, but it's going good.
Where are you moving to?
Moving back. Well, I'm actually, for the first time, going to be living in Orlando. I live in Chicago right now, but I'm from South Florida, so I moved up here 2 years ago to live with my girlfriend, and now we're moving back to Florida. So it's going to be fun. We got 2 dogs, and it's going to be a journey.
That sounds like fun, man. And let me introduce my co-host right here. We got JTDrums. You got Jesse. What's up, man? How you doing?
Back. How's it going, pals? How are you?
Almost forgot about you there, bud.
How's move? I feel like I've been hearing so many people moving during COVID. I was just like every time I was like, oh, COVID got announced, and I just hear, gonna be moving next week, and I had to help someone move. I was like, jeez.
We were kind of because we kind of made the plan to move like in April, and we were kind of like, I don't know, we were kind of like unsure of what to do, but we kind of made the plans, and then everything seemed to open up, but we're still going to be very careful about like going down. We're pretty much just like, I think we're just going to pack a bunch of food and just try to just stay to the hotel the one night and that's it, and just get right to Orlando. Try not to risk it the best we can.
That might be the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also, are you guys just like struggling yourselves, just like doing it all yourselves? Are you bringing any family or friends over to help you move?
My girlfriend's parents are coming with us, which is going to help big time because dogs will probably be in their car, and then I can just drive the U-Haul down and stuff. But we got to pack it up like Saturday, and we're like leaving in the morning Sunday. 10-hour drive the first day, so it'll be
there you go.
I haven't been on tour this year, so that's going to be my I guess touring for the year at least at this point. We were supposed to be playing like a big summer tour, and now I'm driving a U-Haul down to Florida, so times change, things change.
Well, grassroots movement, Trivium.
Yeah, we're
Paolo
doing
drives a U-Haul.
VFW tour, old school, hardcore.
It was funny, right before this interview, I saw that you guys posted a new virtual kind of festival with Lamb of God, Megadeth, and In Flames, and you guys are all posting previous concerts. I think you guys are doing your Dallas show, right?
Oh yeah, we're I think it's our DreamHack show, which was we played at that you know what DreamHack is, like the video streaming.
It's like a video game tournament kind of.
Yeah, we played it last year, which was like a ton of fun. It was actually a really great show. It was like we played at the end of it, so everyone that was like playing games and stuff all day could just come and watch the show at the end of it. And we got a couple other things in the works right now. I can't say yet, but we're planning some big event coming up, probably early July. So we're staying busy and kind of timing out well, moving back down to Florida, just so I can kind of be, in our home base of Orlando, and just easier to travel than having to fly down in the middle of all this stuff. Because normally that's what I was doing, was like flying down for rehearsals, and we normally rehearse a lot, and we've had to put that on hold for the last few months. So it's gonna be nice to kind of get back into the groove of things.
Is Corey in Orlando too, or is he up in Maine?
Yeah, Corey and Matt are like pretty close to each other, and then Alex, our drummer, lives in Modesto, California, so he's the furthest away from everyone.
Yeah, that's a drive.
Yeah, big drive.
Well, I noticed that you guys have been keeping busy. I noticed that you and Matt keep talking about writing new material, and that it's like really pissed off. So I was kind of curious, is that more like lyric based? Is that because there's a lot of screaming in it, a lot of breakdowns? Like, what makes it pissed off?
I mean, I think we're just all kind of writing riffs and stuff at the moment. I wouldn't say it's like fully formed into like this will be what the next record is, but I figured since like touring was kind of like going out the door, at least for the foreseeable future, we're always writing. So, we usually start a year or two in advance before we even get into the rehearsal room together. But I'm assuming with like the way things are, it'll be able to like get to that a lot sooner. So I don't know. I feel like, when we write and when we do like lyrics or music, it's kind of like a reflection of just where we're at as a band, where we feel like we're at as people, where the world's at. And so I would be really surprised if like we don't come out of this with a record at some point in the future that isn't a little bit reflecting like what's happening now. Like that'd be very weird. I feel like that's more of like, what pop is about, which is kind of like an escape from reality. Whereas like metal and rocks usually, or at least metal for sure, all the stuff I loved as a kid was always like confronting that stuff. So we'll see where we get to with that. But at the moment, it's more of like just write a bunch of riffs, try to keep some notes for some ideas for lyrics, and then we'll get into the rehearsal room, and that's when we kind of workshop it into some sort of album or whatever it is we need to do.
Okay, solid. Do you do a lot of the lyrics too? Because I know obviously Matt's the front man, but do you add a lot of lyrics?
Yeah, I feel like in the last couple records, I've kind of like stepped in a lot more for lyrics. There was never really like a discussion about like who writes the lyrics or not, but it's very much a group effort. A lot of times, like Corey will have a demo that has like a song title, like kind of a working title, and I'll be like, oh, that's like great. Like I'd like to use that, and I'll kind of take a song title he has, and then I'll just kind of reverse engineer some lyrics onto it, and we're very collaborative with that stuff. I feel like we've just taken what we've always done with our music, and we've just really put that onto lyrics now, and it really takes a lot of the burden off of Matt having to write every single song's lyrics, or just kind of having to write stuff and then hope that it's as good as it could be. We can always bounce ideas off one another, like, hey Corey, hey Matt, like check out these lyrics, what do you think? And a lot of times we write like lyrics and stuff on the spot when we jam. So like the chorus of What the Dead Men Say, I had that written in my notes, and we just wrote that on the spot, like that chorus. I had that title. I'm like, hey, this would be kind of cool. And so we just started playing chords, and Alex starts playing drums, and we just kept throwing ideas out, like, hey, what if you played the drums like this? And we just kind of worked this chorus out of thin air like that. And that, I think, sometimes is our best material.
So it just comes very smooth at that point.
Yeah, I think when like we're all in a room, it's just like the creativity is so high that you end up just coming up with something. Eventually, one of the ideas connects and clicks, and everyone's like, you can just tell because immediately everyone's like looking at each other like, yeah, that's the thing. We're gonna roll with that. And a lot of times when you're writing at home on your computer, I kind of feel like I get bored quickly. Like I can do like 2 to like 4 hours maybe recording on my own, and I'll be like jamming and having fun. But there's like nothing that compares to just being in our rehearsal spot with each other, being able to play, because the ideas come out just like effortless, where I feel like when I'm at home, it's like I have to kind of motivate myself to like keep writing past that point where I'm like, okay, I've written a bunch of riffs today, I don't know where to go. When you have someone else, you go, hey, what should we do next? Someone always has an idea, and that just makes it way easier.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, you can see their face too. If you like write a fat riff, you're like, there we go. And then if everyone's like looking at their phone, you're like, oh, that riff sucks, I guess.
Yeah,
whatever.
You can tell. Like, I mean, I feel like it's very obvious when like people in the room are just kind of like, okay, I'm not sure if I feel this, because like when something is really good, everyone's just really pumped, and I'm just like, if everyone in the room's not really stoked, like I'd rather just like scrap the idea or try to rewrite it or figure out a new way to do it, because if we're not stoked about it, we're gonna have to play this live, and if most of us in the room aren't feeling it, like our fans probably won't either. So that's usually a good rule of thumb with our writing.
You guys did that for one of the new tracks on What the Dead Man Say, right? One of the ones towards the end. I forgot what track it was. It was the one where you said it was like you guys had it slow and then you guys kicked it up just faster.
Yeah, the last track, The Ones We Leave Behind.
Yes.
A lot of the parts are the same that came in on the demo that Corey brought in. It was just really a different song. It was like a lot slower, and the vibe was really different, and as we just kept speeding it up until it got to the point where it was like, okay, this feels awesome now. This feels like we can do something here. And then from there, we ended up writing like one of the pre-chorus riffs and the outro, but it kind of had to come from us changing the speed of the song and just the vibe of it, because before it's like almost like kind of like a more like iced earth ballad type thing, and then it became this like really speedy in your face kind of thing. And it's like there's no rules for how that stuff works, but it's just like when it's not like clicking, it's good to just try something else, and then eventually you land on the idea and it turns into something else you could have never expected. And there's always like a dark horse like that on the record, like 1 or 2 of them usually.
I feel like speeding it up and going that path kind of made it feel like a old school Trivium record, like Ascendancy or something like that.
Yeah,
like I definitely got that vibe just from you guys doing that.
Yeah, and well, even the song like the Defiant, which I would feel like it's probably our most, like, I would say the one that like harkens back to the Ascendancy Ember era probably the most. And again, that one came in as a song that like it was like a really low tuning, like Matt had written it on like a 7-string, and then like we started playing it on the 7, and we're like, this would sound better on a 6-string, and then we kind of jammed it, and we did like a version that was like a little bit different, and then we lived with it for about a month or so, and then we came back. We're like, okay, let's play it faster. Like it needs to just be more intense. The verse has to have screaming. Like that was really. Sometimes you just gotta like live with something for a little bit and kind of see if you're really feeling it when you come back, and that's why having a little bit of time and space with like demos is always great. Even like with the stuff we're doing now, I would say like we're gonna need like time to like live with any ideas we do work on. So I don't think like the next record's gonna come out like super soon, but like we need that time to live with the stuff. But I guess just because we're at home a lot more without touring, we're just naturally going to be able to work on newer stuff sooner.
Well, speaking of Ember, as you probably know, In Flames is putting out their 20th anniversary of Clayman.
Yeah.
And they re-recorded some tracks and they remastered some of it. Do you guys have like any urge to re-record Ember at all for like a 20th anniversary? Because you guys did that with Pillars and that came out super smooth.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because like it's just one of those things of like to go in and fully re-record an album. Like I don't know if because like that wasn't a Roadrunner record, so I'm not sure Roadrunner would be like super like stoked to be like, oh, like we're gonna spend a lot of money to like re-record this record that like we don't have anything to do with. But I could always see us doing like maybe another re-recording of one of the songs, because we did I don't know if you remember the thing Chapman Studios we did around In Waves. We did Ember to Inferno on that, and that's actually a great version of that song, and it's kind of technically live, but it is recorded. And so we did Pillars, so maybe we'll pick another song at some point to do something with, whether it's a re-record or a live version. I kind of see us doing it like in bits and pieces like that as opposed to like a full re-record, because at most I could see us re-recording maybe a song or two, but like a full album and a release, because we did that I think a special edition, or it was like where we released it with all the bonus like DVDs or demos. So we'll see when we get there. I think it would just have to make sense, and what's cool about redoing those songs is it kind of gives the record a little bit of new life. I feel like Ember to Inferno got really popular after we did that Chapman thing, because so many people didn't really know much about that record or that song. And the same thing with Pillars. Like, longtime fans knew that, but when we put it out, a lot of people thought it was just a brand new song. So it was kind of cool to be able to reintroduce it.
Was that your dog in the back?
Yeah, I got 2 dogs that love to bark. One gets going, the other does.
Nice home aesthetic feel.
Yeah, Paolo, I always wondered, because I got hit, like, I'm a little bit like late to the game with Trivium, according to like Chris. Chris has been a fan since the beginning. I was like, I kind of hit around Shogun, maybe the album like right after that. And I was always wondering, because I've been a fan of you guys ever since. But like, because I always hear like Matt talk about, and like maybe like, about like when, what was it? The Crusade came out. That's when people like kind of quote unquote turned on you guys a little bit here and there. And like, Shogun, I thought like you guys like blew back up, but you guys never like dipped below like a main slot, if not like a main support. But how does it feel? Like, it seems to me you guys have like a second quote unquote coming with this album. And for a band that's been around as long as you guys, that just doesn't happen. How does that feel? Do you feel the same way, where it's like, I feel like this album and the last album are like just probably the 2 best albums in my eyes. Like, I'm just blown away. That doesn't happen in a band that's, you guys have a decent career. You guys have been doing this since 18, younger.
I think it's definitely, I think someone had pointed it out, like that, like you said, that it's kind of one of those things that doesn't really kind of happen too often, where like a band, like, there's often times where like a band won't hit till later in their career, but like, I think the fact, of course, like Ascendancy was like a really, really massive moment for us. And of course, the couple records after it as well. But like to kind of have this like newfound like momentum, really driven just by the records themselves. And of course, I think now our live show with Alex has been a big part of that. But it's really crazy. And I feel like, very proud that like we could kind of do that, because it's like, again, that's like one of those things that doesn't really ever happen. So you can never plan for that stuff. But I always felt like we had like a lot more in us with our writing and stuff than we were doing. And I think like getting Alex into the band was like that final piece of the puzzle that we needed to kind of really pull off what I think we always had in us. And, you know, it's exciting now because I feel like there's a lot more for us to do going forward with new music. And I think really the sky's the limit, you know, as long as we're willing to push ourselves and just have fun with making the music. And I think our best music has been when we just kind of write whatever we're feeling and just having fun with it and not really trying to think too hard about like fitting into a certain thing or overthinking what we're doing. It's just jam and see what happens, and people seem to like that.
Well, yeah, you guys have been putting out bangers. These last two, like I said, I'm like blown away. And also, it's weird. I know it's like bigger bands have an easier time finding new members, like especially like, you know, you get to like put out a bigger net. But to find a guy like Alex, like the guy's a monster. Like it's just like to always get a better drummer and then just kind of hit this guy. It's like, wow. Like some of his drum work's insane.
We kind of missed asking him to join us a year earlier than that too, because at that point, you know, when we needed someone to come in after Matt Madero, we were looking for people, and Alex, I think at that point, I don't know if he was still with Battlecross or he had just left, or he just wasn't touring and doing stuff anymore. So like the people that we were asking about drummer recommendations, which were some of our friends that are producers and stuff, you know, never thought to even ask him or to even suggest him because he wasn't available. So it was just like we missed him. But thankfully, the second time it was like he was available again, and you know, definitely worked out for both of us because, you know, it's such a perfect fit.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's just like, it's nuts. It's just, and then like obviously the work, because like it's also shown too is like you guys mature over time. You know, obviously you get better and better, and it just shows that all you guys are such a high level. It's pretty insane, and you finally get a drummer that kind of matches all your levels.
I mean, it pushes us too because like the possibilities now are just so much more that it's like when I'm writing, I'm just always trying to think like, am I pushing as hard as I can with like what I'm doing with my ideas and stuff? And like even just coming in to write and record this last record, I just felt like we were just so much more energized to get in there than even when we started the Sin in the Sentence, because we just knew what the possibilities were, and like we came in, there was like no limits to like what we were trying, and it was just fun to kind of be able to, you know, in the rehearsal, just see how far you can really push stuff, and how creative you can get, because the time to like actually try that stuff wasn't that long. Like we don't have to sit there and try to, you know, practice a part or explain the part a million times. It's just like, hey, Alex, what if you did this crazy thing? And he can do it, and then we'll try something. And so we're able to try all our ideas a lot faster, and it just made the process like way quicker than it's ever been. Like when we were doing Shogun, I mean, that album is very long, it's very dense, and there's so much to it, but like the process for like going through and writing it was just so long, and I felt so burnt by the time we got into the record. You know, it just felt as long as that record really is. Oh, you know, geez. It really reflected it. Whereas like this one, it's like there's a lot of progginess, there's a lot of fast stuff and a lot of detail, but like it was just quick. It was just bouncing ideas like off each other like immediately. It was like it either worked or didn't, and we moved on to the next thing.
Well, speaking of what the Dead Man Say, I know that came out back in April, but I feel like it's still like a brand new album, like it just came out last week when I listened to it. And you guys got to work with Josh Wilbur, who's really known for working with like Lamb of God Records since like Wrath's 2009. And I was talking to Randy before, and Randy said how him and Josh would sometimes get into it, and sometimes like each record there's that one song where they kind of like go back and forth because they push each other really hard. Has that ever happened with you guys in Trivium? Has Josh ever pushed you guys on a song for the better?
Honestly, like I feel like us and Josh, like we're just it's so easy to kind of like go through anything of like if Josh has an idea or whatever, like we're usually like seeing eye to eye with a lot of things. You know, there's always those things of like maybe Josh thinks this could be cool this way or that way, but like he always says like if the band's feeling something, like he's not going to push it past that, because it's like obviously, you know, he wants to do what the majority wants to do. But if we're all kind of split on things, like Josh is a really good mediator on finding what kind of works. I I don't have that experience. Like, you know, I know there's been other records where I feel like there's more pushback and tension with that kind of stuff. And I feel like Josh, at least for me, it's never felt like that. And I feel like we usually work out whatever we need to. But like on this record, I think it was Bleed Into Me. Like it had a longer intro to it that I had. And, you know, a lot more bass in the beginning of it. And he's like, hey, I have an idea, like, for a structural change. Like, I want to show you. And he, like, showed it to us. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. You know, it was like, there was, like, there's no pushback. Like, the way I view it, the way I've always kind of gotten over that kind of stuff is I always remind myself that fans haven't heard the song yet, so they didn't get the demo ideas like we do. So any change that's going to make the song feel better, I don't have to worry about like fans being like, oh, I like this original version better. Like that's only something we have to deal with. So I think in the past I was more dead set on it being the way I wanted it or the way we wanted. And now I'm just kind of like, unless it's like something we're all pushing for, I really don't get too hung up on that stuff. So honestly, working with Josh has been like a breeze for us.
Well, I know I remember I asked you back, like, I think this was during Silence in the Snow era, and I asked you guys if you ever wanted to produce your own records. Has that changed, or you just love working with Josh?
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to do my own, our own production, because I like having that, like, extra guy there that's sort of the tiebreaker for things. I would never want to have the responsibility to record ourselves, to, you know, get the final product in order, because that is a really time-consuming job. And, you know, I like to, like, do a lot of our demoing and writing on our own time without a producer, but I do, when it's time to, like, get the finish line, like, having a producer there is, like, it takes the weight off our shoulders, and we're just performing, and Josh is worrying about the overall project and the engineering, and it makes it, like, way more just relaxing. Because I feel like if I had to worry about actually pushing buttons and, like, you know, trying to like help Corey work through a solo or help Matt like finish the vocals and stuff, it would just be so much extra work for us, and like I think it would cause a lot more tension.
It'd take away from the songs too.
Yeah, it would be. I just like at that point when I get into the studio, I just want to focus on my playing and like making sure the songs are getting recorded the way we jam them and stuff. Because at that point, we've done all of our production. Like, it's in the writing room. We worked through all the stuff we wanted. We got to the point where the band is happy with how it is. Now it's time to present to Josh, and we just kind of work with him on that. But I feel like the band's usually, when we get to the studio, it's a pretty united front on what we want. So we've worked out all of our issues with the songs prior to that.
Nice.
Also, just the simple thing of like, is that really the best take? Like, I know like some producers where they're just like, oh, that sounds amazing. It's like, go again. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I've had a lot of that like over the years. I prefer to just like if I nail this thing the first time or the second time, like I don't want to do like 7 takes. Like I don't believe in that at all. Like I know that I did it right. And there's not going to be a magical 7th take. Like it's either right or wrong, you know, like I don't like to do that. And I know some people kind of push that, and I don't like the head game stuff. Like I don't like, I need to like have someone punch me in the head so I get the best angry bass take, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm not into that.
Bring
like
I make you cry in the studio.
Yeah,
like, gotta be emotional.
I got your diaries now. I'm gonna read them to you and make you mad. Like that to me is all kind of just, I think that's like snake oil stuff. Like you do all that stuff in the rehearsal room, you prepare and get really good in there, and then you can come in and do anything. Then Josh can be like, hey, could you play that maybe a little more like this or a little more like that, or why don't you put a fill here? That's the stuff I'm looking for. I'm not looking for head games. You know, Josh is not like that. You know, he's a cool dude, which I like. He's a pro. He's nice. He fits with what Trivium needs in the studio.
Which is awesome. Well, he's got also all-star cast. Godra, Dillinger, Log, Trivium.
Yeah,
like, bangers.
He's an unbelievable engineer, too. Like, I don't know if a lot of people know about, like, his story and stuff. We actually did a YouTube thing with him, like on our Trivium channel, where we just kind of talk about the record, but also a little bit about him. And he worked under Andy Wallace, who I think is, like, one of the greatest mixers of all time. And he learned so much from all these people, and then all of that stuff he learned, he just kind of brought into his own production and engineering. And like watching him set up drums and miking stuff, for people that are into it, he's got to be one of the best. Like, he can mic a drum set in like 30, 40 minutes and things sounds incredible. And I like trying to do something like that is like very, very tough. And like, he just knows off the top of his head, like, oh, you put the mic over here and over here, and like the angles and how it all works out. Like, that's just like a next level thing. And in a way, it's like I want someone like that doing that, because that's how I want to come in with my bass playing. I want it to be like, oh, I could do that part in one take or something. Like, I want it to be that effortless.
And also just shows the experience too, because you don't just do that and like you suck. Like, only good guys could do that. If he sucked and he did that, it's like, I just put the mic over there, it'd sound great. It's like all the demos were below. It's like, oh, so this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. You definitely know right away when something's like not up to par. And I always just thought, like, back in the day, it was like, oh, drums sound really bad when they're recorded and then they get fixed up later. And then I realized later on, they're like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. It's actually supposed to sound good when you're recording it. But, you learn over time, like, oh, that's like, you're not supposed to just rely on samples to make it sound better later.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. Man, that's like, especially some of these like famous producers. I feel like Josh, and then like Nolly Get Good. He's like blown up in the last couple, and like these guys, like just talking to like people that work with these guys, and just like, it's like, wow, there's just levels of this game. Like, I already thought I was at the lowest tier level, like, playing little instruments here and there. And then I'm like, man, there's still just stratospheres, just into the goddamn space with these levels. I'm like, wow, I can't even fathom.
Yeah, because it's like, you got to compete with, like, now everyone has the apps and the plugins that, like, can make stuff sound pretty good. Like, I feel like I can make a demo sound, like, fairly good with the amount of gear and stuff I have just at home. But, like, to get it to that next level, like, the way the drums sound, like, just on their own, when he's recording it, I'm like, I don't even know how you would do that, I just know how to turn the plugin on to make it sound good, not, like, actually sit there and know the amount of distance between things and how it works. It's like almost like how you got to be like almost like a, I don't know, just really understand the physics of like sound and stuff at that point.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
So going back to the Shogun record, you wrote the Throws of Perdition riff, and I remember Corey and Matt like saying or sharing how complicated it was. Like, it was such a tough riff to get down. Did you write any riffs on What the Dead Man Say that were like just as complicated?
Try to think, running through all the riffs in my head. The one little tricky riff on Catastrophist that goes from the bridge back into the main part, the kind of weird proggy thing. Like,
as a death,
I don't think it was
necessarily riff?
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily that hard, but like maybe at first kind of explaining like how it gets into that and stuff was a little weird. Another song, what's another one I'm trying to think of? Like Bleed Into Me, like the parts are really easy, but like they had to kind of be played a certain way. And so in a way that was kind of tricky too, because it's a simple part, but like if it's not played at the right timing, because it's in 6/8, it can kind of feel a little weird. So in a weird way, like some of the simplest stuff usually can be the trickiest. But like Throws of Perdition, it was really just the melody part, the way I played it. I just played it weird. And of course, Corey plays it live now and plays it exactly the same way. But at the time, it was really an odd one. And I think there was another one on Shogun, and it was like one of Corey's riffs that Matt was having a lot of trouble with. I think it was like Callisto, that song. It was like really, really tricky. And Corey writes really like hard riffs to kind of like get it first. You have to almost like, in the same way, I think a lot of Lamb of God riffs are like this, because I was like jamming some of their stuff the other day on my stream. And you have to almost just kind of like get it so down with muscle memory and not even look at it, because it's so bizarre to even look at that it like throws you off. And that's how Corey riffs are to me. And so sometimes there'll just be a riff like that where it's just frustrating. And I remember that was actually a big blow up in the studio in Shogun, because I think Nick Raskulinich like had Corey come in and record the part, and then him and Matt got into it about that. So it's kind of funny how that happened. And I just played the throws thing, but there was no issue there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wanted to play it.
By the way, that's a great DVD. Shogun, the making of.
Yeah,
I've watched
I'd like
so
to
many
get
times.
that onto. I don't think it's on YouTube. I've been asking Roadrunner if they could just put that up on our YouTube at some point because that'd be really funny.
Yeah, someone did but it's not good quality at all.
Yeah, we'd have to I'm sure we could. I've been trying for a bit. I'm just gonna keep asking until it eventually gets done. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard.
Oh, speaking about asking for stuff, I know that you guys recorded Toss a Coin to the Witcher, like the Trivium version, the metal version of that.
Yeah,
When's that coming out?
Matt did that. Yeah, I don't know. Because Matt did it. I think Matt and Alex did that, and but it kind of was happening right before we were about to release new Trivium music, and it was kind of well, it'd be kind of weird to release that. We wouldn't want people to think that's what the new Trivium is going to be, or what it's going to sound like. So it kind of got pushed back. So it's kind of up to Matt because he had done that, and so we never actually did that as a full band, just because there was so much with the new record coming out. And now I don't know. Maybe at some point it will.
I thought that was a full band recording it, as B-side.
No. We were gonna try to do that, and then there we go. That's Lady. She likes to come into the interviews and the streams.
So what's your favorite food? Rough. All right, we need a translator. Someone get a translator.
Well, that brings us into our next segment. So if you remember, I do the 3 random silly question segments. There's 3 random questions, and they're short and sweet. So all right, question number 1: best tour prank you've witnessed or been a part of?
Ooh, man, I feel like there's been quite a few. I feel like some of the funniest ones kind of messed up now, but I always feel like back in the day, we would always call up our manager, or anytime we would call, we'd always say someone got arrested or someone got into some shit, and we'd always fuck with them like that, which is kind of fucked up, but those were really funny. I just remember seeing how long we could actually keep him going with that stuff, which probably made him so scared all the time anytime he got a call from us. Because it probably was bad because we would have eventually probably had something happen, and then he just didn't believe us.
All right, idiots, get back on the bus and go to. Yeah. No, for real. We can't get out. We can't leave.
Yeah, we're stuck.
I love the ones where they're like, "Oh yeah, we left our band member," and I was like, was that the prank or is that on purpose?" You know what I mean? Oh man.
Oh, another good one was we'd always there was this one sound guy. He would always pass out in the front, and we Sharpied his leg. We'd Sharpie his head. Sharpied his teeth once.
Oh.
Ooh, that's bad.
Right on the teeth. Yeah. But it never stayed, so it was okay. He'd wake up and it would magically disappear. I don't know. He just had something on his skin that would get rid of it.
It absorbed it.
Yeah, probably.
I am one with the Sharpie now.
All right. Question number 2. What's your go-to song to sing in the shower?
Ooh, probably my vocal warm-ups. The Melissa Cross vocal warm-ups.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Because that's the only thing I can think of. I don't sing songs in the shower usually, but if I have to do anything, it would be getting in there, get some steam, do my vocal warm-ups.
Okay, solid.
That's awesome.
And
practical.
Yes.
It actually makes sense. All right, question number 3. What's something that your bandmates rip on you for?
Trying to think. What have they ripped on me for?
Or what do you rip on your bandmates for?
Oh, I mean, we kind of just always are just in a fun way, just kind of always busting everyone's balls over stuff, with the crew, or just having a fun time. I'm trying to think of a good specific one. I don't know. It's normally it just kind of leads from someone doing something funny, with Alex. Was it? It was just it was somewhere we were in Italy, and he tried to put it was something weird. He was trying to put vinegar on his pasta or something, and we were with some friends from there, and they were all freaking out because I'm Italian. I know how serious everyone takes food in Italy, and it was just so funny. We were just laughing. It was just he was just kind of not even thinking. And then we went to a gelato place, and he was asked if they had sprinkles and stuff. We were just laughing, and he was just asking for random stuff, just going to a steakhouse and asking for A1 sauce, just kind of the funny faux pas stuff like that, and just having fun and in a nice way, like kind of ripping on them with that kind of stuff. But I feel like we all do that to each other, and it's just funny, you know, because we all have a good time. Everyone has a good sense of humor and doesn't take stuff too serious, which I think kind of makes touring a lot more fun. You know, you don't want to have someone that's always like the person you got to walk on eggshells around. They don't have a good sense of humor. Yeah, of course. So luckily we don't have any of that with us. Yeah, it's not good at it in general, but being stuck on a bus with them is the worst.
You can ask Chris right here. There's how many times we've hung out with someone. I'm like, can we just not invite that guy again?
Yeah, like, it's just like, that's the worst.
Didn't yell at me.
Bad
like,
vibes.
Oh, don't want to control myself around this guy. It's like, hey, what about cereal? Just like, whoa, what is that? Cereal?
Yeah.
Made him explode or something?
Yeah. Not need any of that around ever.
The trigger words you know not to say when you're with that person.
Yeah. No, don't want any of that.
All right, so that was the random silly question segment. Hope you had fun.
Yes. Yes.
The highlight of your day.
Yeah, right? You're going to
Lady loved it. Lady loved it.
Okay, so I noticed that you're going to be doing Will Putney's Will Putney's hosting We Could Do Better Words from the Underground, and you're a part of that too. Is there anything you want to talk about that? Give into detail?
I didn't know actually. Was it Matt that's a part of that, or was it everyone in Trivium? Did it say me on there?
I thought it said you.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
would you like to be a part of it? And if you're not a part of it, are you mad?
I guess I could be. I mean, maybe I need to look into it. If I am a part of it, I need to be doing something. So, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing from what it is, like the project is, I'm assuming is addressing some of the recent issues and stuff. So, you know, I think it's good when people take initiative with those kind of things, especially in our industry. You know, I think kind of have a right as a musician, but also kind of a duty. Like, I think if you're out in public to address things and to speak your mind, and I think it's good to see people banding together to do that. You know, and it seems like I pretty much saw when people were posting that online. It's good. It's like reassuring when I see a lot of people posting that kind of stuff. That I'm like, okay, you know, there's a lot of good people in the world we're in, which is always like a good feeling. You know, sometimes you're not sure if like maybe, you know, you don't know how people think about things, and that's always like a weird thing. I'm like, okay, we'll see what this is about. But I think everyone at the end of the day, at least a lot of the people we tour with are just good people, and I guess I'm always reassured when I see people like taking part and stuff like that, and you know, being willing to be out there and being honest.
Well, it's definitely nice to be around good people, especially because social media, you only get the bad parts of people usually.
So
even if they're like a good person when you meet them, it's like, just for some reason, that crazy thought, it's like, I have to type this out to everybody. It's like, please.
Yeah, it's a very, very bad. I mean, it's really like, I think someone said, like, you know, everything you post and stuff is really for yourself. It's not for anyone else, you know? So I think the people that are just very, I guess you could say narcissistic, tend to write some really bad stuff, and I'm just like, what's the point of that? What did that do? Like, I don't think it made any point you wanted it to make, and you end up looking very bad. And I feel at least good, at least with my social media. I feel like my real life personality and how I am online is like fairly close. So for better or worse, you know, it's kind of the same. You know, but it's nice to have a little fun on there sometimes and stir the pot. You know, it's very easy to do. That's how I was in school. I was a class clown, so, you know, the ultimate class online, you know, and it's the best place for clowns, the internet.
It's insane. Well, also, you know what blows my mind? I was kind of looking on Twitter. I forgot some drummer, you know, I'm a drummer, and some famous drummer, this lady posted this insane post. And I was like, I'm kind of glad people post crazy stuff because you know what they really think. But at the same time, just like, why did you think that was a good idea? Even if it's just like she got dropped by her drum company right away. I was like,
weird.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah, very, very odd. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely some weird stuff. I mean, there's like stuff I'm pretty good with, like, if I feel like something I'm gonna say is gonna be taken the wrong way, I just won't post it. Like, if I have any sort of inkling that it would be taken the wrong way, then I believe, because I'm like, I don't think there's once you kind of put it out there and it's taken the wrong way, you can never explain it away. Like, it is just there. So unless it's like a hill I'm really willing to die on, like, I just will not do it because I don't want to expend the energy. And I think that's the problem, is a lot of people don't realize you don't have to put like send on anything you say. You don't have to say anything.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Delete it too. If you're nobody, just delete Twitter.
Just take the L and just go away. You know, like there's no win. You're not gonna win anything. Like you're not gonna win anyone over usually. So most of the shit I star is mostly just purely for my own entertainment. So it's like at that point, you know, I've already won because this is just for my own fun. You know, but if it's something like I usually just won't post it if I don't feel like explaining it or if I'm just not comfortable with it. I'm just like, it's better to just not. You know,
hit delete. Go get a drink.
Live to see another day.
So I see you coped pretty well with Trapt having more Pandora followers than Trivium.
yeah. Well, we'll try to make it through. Try to make it through that as best we can.
It hurt. Had to sleep in. I slept in for like 3 days, but I made it back out.
Lost sleep.
That was a guy that confused the shit out of me. I was just like. Like, speaking of that, I was like, hey, man, like, you know what happened to Fred Durst? I was like, dude, some of the, like, Limp Bizkit's, like, Wes Borland's a riff machine. And it's like, and he just looked at it, like, kind of like an asshole because Fred Durst was a dick back in the 90s. And it's like, yo, don't you just not want to do that to your band? Like, just stop.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, I guess at least one of those bands walked away with a good amount of money.
No.
Having multiple hits. But I guess, it is kind of a weird thing, like, because... I guess now with that, it's like it was funny how that like news cycle really kind of went quickly from this is funny to this is kind of sad and wow, this dude's a total dickhead, you know, like it kind of got really progressively darker as more things happened and as the dude kept commenting and had a bigger platform of people just paying attention because wanting to see what the next thing would be. But
the next chapter.
You know, I guess it was definitely one of those moments, online moments. I guess with everyone being cooped up inside, it was bound to expose some people, and I think the meltdown May this year was pretty next level. It's fitting with the times. A lot of people melting down. It was pretty amazing to see.
Just people sitting. Like, also, I go on for nice long walks. I try to go, and I pass a few people's garbage cans. I see stacks of beer bottles. So I guess I understand some of the meltdowns that just happen. People just losing
totally.
Just
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not on Facebook anymore because that's where a lot of it happens, and just on such a small scale too. So it's always going to bubble up. Eventually, some bigger people, some more famous people are going to have their moments, have a couple too many, and just go off on one. And
this is a fantastic idea. Send. Wait, why is everyone angry?
Yeah. Terrible.
All
Terrible.
Right. Before we let you go, I have to ask the Lamb of God Megadeth tour in Flames. Any idea when that's coming? Release, rescheduling, anything like that?
I don't know yet for the summer leg. I mean, my guess would be that they'll just put it to next summer at the same time. The fall tour, I don't know. It's still on, and it's like part of me is like, I don't think it's going to happen on schedule, and it will also get pushed as well. But then I'm like, I don't know, because it feels like everyone's just pretending like there's like no pandemic or anything anymore. So I'm like, maybe we're going to do with that. So I don't know. Like, I'm like really on the fence about like what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not sure I'm 100% confident in wanting to even go out like for health reasons anyway. But I guess we're going to see, because I feel like we've lived like 3 years in the last 2 months. Like there's so much shit has happened that I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, it's hard to even say, like, what's going to be happening. Because I remember, like, a month ago, I felt like touring won't happen for 3 years. And now, like, the bars downstairs are all open. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't even know. I guess that's going to be the test run, you know?
Put a gigantic cough screen in front of the stage.
Yeah. I mean, like they put in front of the president when they speak, those big plexiglass things. Like, probably wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly, because I don't know if I want 20,000 people screaming at me and coughing on me.
Yeah, right.
So, it's gonna be interesting. I guess Las Vegas is open, so they'll be they're gonna be the guinea pig, you know. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's like also the problem is like because they do like the cut the cap, but it's like if people already sold the tickets, it's like I'm pretty sure they're not allowed just to randomly kick people out. It's like we only need 200 people now, so it's like.
Yeah, it's really well. It's gonna be weird because I feel like the bigger show would be better outside than like a club show. Because when they were all like, "Oh, we're gonna open club shows up first," I'm like, "Isn't it worse to have 100 people smashed together than like 10,000 people outside like separated? Like, wouldn't you want to start with the big ones first where there's more space? So I don't really get the reasoning behind anything. It seems like everything's very random, and I'm just looking at videos of people in Vegas, like, back in the casinos, like smoking and like hanging out at the like touching the like. Throwback. It looks really just like, I'm like, oh, this like did not seem like it was going to be happening this soon. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we'll be touring overseas first before the States. I guess depending on how things go. I mean, I hope, knock on wood, it disappears and everything was not as bad as it seemed. But who knows?
That would be nice.
I'm not going to make those. I'm not going to make those predictions because I feel like we're like 2-3 weeks from something else happening that who knows what it's going to be.
Meteor. I forgot. That happened a couple weeks ago. It's like Empire State Building size meteor coming. Thanks, 2020. It's like amazing.
I just want to get to Florida before whatever happens next happens, so I can at least be somewhere. I don't want to get caught in the middle of a move with like some weird like earthquakes happening everywhere. But we are going to Florida again, so I'm used to hurricanes. So I'm expecting. I'm sure there'll be one this year. My luck, I'll get back and one will come right through Orlando. So we'll see.
I hope you guys can make this tour stay, because I know a lot of bands only 2 bands can do this tour now.
We're not canceling it. We're not canceling it.
Yeah, so thank God.
Because like pretty much everyone but In Flames, like us, Lamb of God, and Megadeth are all in the same management, and so there's obviously more of an interest to kind of keep it together, and that was how we were able to get the tour together a lot easier. I know Live Nation doesn't want to cancel it, so it was easier to just postpone it, reschedule it when it comes, and let people keep their tickets if they wanted it, or get a refund now if they need to. And I think that was the best way. I mean, we're gonna have to tour at some point, so we don't want to get rid of like this big tour and then everyone has to go back out and tour separately. I think that would be worse. I think there needs to be less tours on the road as possible. So I could see bands probably pairing up, like canceling their own tours and pairing up with people, because I'd rather tour with more bands than less, because I think people aren't going to be able to go to every single rescheduled show if it's all pushed at the same time.
That's a better idea, actually. I didn't even thought of that.
Yeah, because if everyone reschedules for like June, July of next year, it's going to be a madhouse. It's going to have the opposite problem, we're having now. So, but I feel good because like, Megadeth, Lamb of God, Trivium, and Flames has, that's a good lineup. So I feel like we're at least kind of, not totally shielded from everything, but I do feel like, people are going to have to look at a list of tours. That's probably one they're going to want to go to. So I feel at least confident sticking with that for now.
Well, it's the best metal tour of the year, so far. Like, that's 4 headliners.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it was like we were putting it together. Like, wow, if we can actually put this together. I mean, I love when that happens. We did that with the Black Crusade tour back in 2007 or 8 with, it was like us, Machine Head, Dragon Force, Arch Enemy, Shadows Fall, through Europe. And it's just like, it was like a stacked bill and it was packed everywhere. And, if you can actually make it work and get the details right, and everyone's kind of willing to set aside like ego a little bit to make it happen, you end up getting these like really killer tours. And I think this one's going to be that when it happens. And in a way, maybe it's going to almost go better because it was announced and it had to be taken away. People are going to be like, fuck, I need to see this now. I was thinking about it before, but I'm like, I haven't seen a show in like 8 years. I need to go.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Well, What the Dead Man Say came out back in April 24th. What's the best way for fans to support Trivium? Is it going on Spotify, buying physical? What's the best way to support?
I mean, for us, it's kind of any of it. If you can stream it, if you can share it, that's great. If you can go on our web store, we have bundles with the new record with like vinyl and CD. You can mix and match merch that goes along with the CD. So if you want a hoodie and the vinyl, you can get that. If you want a hoodie and patches and stuff. So go to the web store. It's on our Trivium site. That's really the best way. Like, streaming is great too for us. So any way you can support us, even if it's just telling people about us, that's all good. Any of it.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this, man. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you very much.
No
appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one.
I'll see you, Paolo.
Take care.
All right, guys. That was Paolo of Trivium, the bassist. He was a lot of fun to talk to. I'm so glad we got to have him on. I think this is the 4th time I interviewed him. I think I talked to him at Starland. I talked to him at Rock Allegiance. I got to talk to him at PlayStation Theater. And that was it. And now this time. So shout out to Paolo for keep coming on to the show. Returning guest.
Yeah. First time I got to talk to him, so he was pretty cool.
Yeah. Podcast format. So we got unfiltered Paolo.
Yeah, dude. All those awful ideas that you got to listen back and see. Like, okay, all those things he keeps locked inside that the filter keeps out.
Yeah.
Oh, he's awesome. I'm so happy that Matt. I'm assuming Matt got him into streaming. I'm happy that he started streaming.
He should, yeah. I mean, Matt's like the king of streaming right now.
Yeah, especially music streaming. I didn't realize how like. Well, it's not like an insult, but I guess like maybe music streaming isn't as big as I thought. Because when I saw Matt just start streaming, and I feel like he jumped to the top really quickly. Like, obviously, he's a part of a very big band. But then I'm like, when I realized he's the ambassador, like everything. Like, music streaming, Twitch literally hired him to be, like, the ambassador for, like, to explain how to set up, like, your interface to record your thing.
DCMA thing going on.
Yeah,
DMCA?
which is...
Did I get it right?
DMCA, yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird. I actually haven't been paying attention to that because I just saw every musician basically post about DMCA. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, for anyone who's not really aware, people are complaining that, let's say Matt from Trivium is hosting his stream, right? And there's 804 people following him, right? Or viewing his stream. When he plays a song, so sometimes he plays like a Trivium song, if he plays it, they only get one stream. So if he plays on like Apple Music or Spotify, whatever, and he plays it for the whole stream, even though 800 people are viewing it, only one stream counts, only one spin counts. And they said that's not really fair because 800 people are actually listening to it. So they got to figure out a way. It's a whole licensing issue right now, and not a lot of people know the solution to it. I know Matt posted a video, or he will post a video, giving I think his suggestion was he's going to have Amazon Music, because Amazon Music and Twitch are the same parent company. So he's going to have Amazon Music up, and when he plays it, the viewer is supposed to have it up as well, and it will trigger it, and it will count as a spin if they have it open while they're viewing, which is kind of like complicated. Not complicated, but you know what I mean. It's a lot of extra work.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. I don't know.
I apologize if I butchered what Matt said, if I said it incorrectly, but that's what I gathered from his little statement today on Twitch.
Yeah, it was. It's interesting. I never thought of it like that because I always wondered, especially with him playing his own music like over and over again. It is true. Like 1,000 people a pop are hearing him play these songs, and it's like that should just count.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it started. I think Matt was playing one of his songs, like a Trivium song on the stream, and Warner Brother was like, stop doing that. Because Warner Brother owns Roadrunner, or, the parent company.
Wait, did he actually get a... I didn't think he did. I thought...
Yeah, I think someone else did or something. He made like a little funny video out of it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I can't play my own music? Check out the video. It's on his Twitter and his Instagram and all that good stuff.
I always wondered that because I always wondered if that happened to people. Like... Because how do they know? It's an algorithm. It's not people that go after you.
Oh, yeah. That's like if the algorithm senses anything remotely copyrighted, immediately you're screwed. That's like happens with my YouTube videos. Happens to, I'm pretty sure, your YouTube videos, your reaction videos, right?
Sad. Yeah. Pussifier Apocalyptica I put all the information and then said, nope. And I was like, oh. It only says when I put all the information in. So it's
sorry.
Like, the most time-consuming part of making my videos, it always waits till after that to tell me, like, oh, yeah, by the way, it's blocked. And not even because of the video. It's just blocked entirely, which doesn't happen often. Usually it's just the video, but, like, I was like, oh, my heart.
At least I don't know if anything got taken down for me, but I got the copyright kind of claim on me. It's like, you can't make money off this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, guys, remember Paolo Trivium. If you want to check out my old interviews with him, which they're still informative even though they're dated, because we talk about the albums that came out at the time. So we talked about Silence in the Snow, and then we talked about, what album was that? Well, definitely Sin is Sentence. That was the recent one. I actually did that one with Corey, too. Interviewed Corey as well. He had a lot of fun things to say. Dude, you know what I was listening back to the interview I had with Corey, and because it was for WMSC, it was FCC regulated, I couldn't put in the whole bit about how I asked him if he wanted to be a fruit, and he said banana, because then girls can deep throat you. And I couldn't put that in there. Yeah, it was so funny.
What a fucking...
Yeah, we were laughing about that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I cut that all out because I can't."
It does actually sound like a Corey thing to say.
Oh, so good, and yeah. So, if Corey, you want to come back on and tell that story?
Yeah, we'll run through the gambit, every single person.
But we're gonna wrap this up right now. Jess, you want to drop your socials?
Yeah. So that'd be YouTube, Insid, youtube.com/c/Insid1. That's my YouTube, or Insid on YouTube. Twitch, Insid, Insid stream on Twitter and Instagram. And then, yeah, pretty good. That's all my stuff.
Pretty good.
Videos every day, basically, especially during the weekdays. I try to post all 5 days, reaction videos. And I have some ideas coming up soon about doing, like, full album reviews. And I got my interface. I just need one more part, and I should be good to go on making drum videos, or at least live streaming drums.
That Wolf is Loose cover.
No, I can only do the first minute.
That's the best part. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Oh, but yeah. So that's all my stuff.
So yeah, if you guys remember, I still do my radio show with WMSC, so that is still happening Tuesday night, 7 to 10. You can catch it on WMSCradio.com and iHeartRadio. And I also post the shows on mixcloud.com/MTB Experience. So you can hear me and Aram talking about movies, Ozark, and metal. I've been playing a lot of Lamb of God lately and Trivium, so you should definitely check that out. So but it will all be on the MTB, the Mixcloud account. You missed it, so. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Dude, every time we do that with Aram, I just stick out my tongue. Like, we're like doing the interview, and I'm like that, and he's like, please stop.
It makes me uncomfortable. It actually makes me uncomfortable. Stop doing it, huh?
Oh, you want me to eat with my mouth open? I'll get that sleeping tablet, right?
I'll give you a sleeping tablet right in your face. I'll put it in your mouth for you, dude.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to end it on that.
Sorry, dude. Like the back of my shirt says, destroy everything, dog.
All right, guys. Until next time, keep it real.